On a night black as crude oil, the skies above Doha were illuminated by something no diplomatic protocol could have ever stopped: rockets, drones, and the piercing shriek of jet engines. As the world watched the Middle East with a blend of fear and disbelief, one man stood still, upright, at the heart of the storm. Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, a sovereign draped in silver splendor, yet burdened by centuries-old geopolitical expectations. As Israeli warplanes sliced through Qatari airspace, he chose no evacuation, no concession. He activated something insiders refer to as the Sand Code, an invisible network of air defense, cyber warfare, and diplomatic pressure. This wasn't a war. It was something far more dangerous: prestige versus paranoia, power against perception. And Qatar, the smallest piece on the board, suddenly became the center of a geopolitical explosion. The night that changed everything. It began at exactly 3:12 a.m. when Doha had just slipped into the stillness of sleep beneath a velvet dome of silence. But high above that calm, satellite images had already captured something suspicious. 5 unidentified aerial objects speeding in from the west with military precision. To the untrained eye, it looked like a drill. But inside the gold-laced corridors of the Emiri Diwan, there was no such illusion. Emir Tamim, at that moment inside his private command room, a chamber sealed with biometric locks and radio-blocking walls, received the encrypted alert with grave quiet. Israeli forces, according to intelligence analysts, had resolved to punish Doha for what they labeled unchecked diplomacy. Qatar's growing ties with Iran, its 5-star treatment of Hamas negotiators, and its open rejection of the Abraham Accords. But what Tel Aviv didn't know was that Tamim had been preparing for this scenario since 2020, not with firepower alone, but with something infinitely more intricate. The Sand Code wasn't myth. It was a hybrid shield, electromagnetic, human, and strategic. As F-35s crossed into Qatari airspace, the Emir didn't blink. A system worth over $370 million, designed in silent partnership with European and Asian contractors, was activated. It didn't fire missiles, it vanished targets. In mere seconds, radar screens across the region began to scramble, satellite feeds flickered, drones lost orientation. To the pilots, it was as if Doha had disappeared off the map. But beneath that cloak of disruption, every Qatari defense system was locked, tracking and ready. A silence louder than war. The Palace of Glass. The Emir's Palace, a grandiose display of sandstone and steel often captured in luxury magazines, is only the tip of a far more complex iceberg. Beneath its glossy halls and ornate ceilings lies a 30-level subterranean fortress buried deep beneath Education City. What the world sees as cultural opulence is, in reality, a military nerve center, concealed beneath marble libraries and diplomatic lounges. On the night of the Israeli incursion, this hidden fortress lit up like a high-tech brain. Accessed only through biometric iris scans and DNA-coded elevators, the complex became the beating heart of Qatari resistance. A hand-picked team gathered inside: former NATO strategists, ex-Mossad defectors, cyber intelligence experts from South Korea, and a circle of Qatari royal advisors trained in psychological warfare. Together, they monitored every millisecond of the operation from a wall of screens larger than a football pitch. The central war room, named Sahm, the Arrow, ran simulations, deployed countermeasures, and launched predictive models at machine learning speed. Over 127 drones were scrambled silently from underground hatches, circling strategic sites without detection. Air vents filtered nuclear-grade toxins. Each console, custom-built by Swiss engineers, was embedded with AI co-pilots programmed to recognize emotional stress in human operators and auto-adjust protocols. Meanwhile, the Emir's family was escorted to the Deep Vault, a 5-star underground suite equipped with surgical-grade medical bays, fresh water tanks, and a luxury command chamber. But Tamim refused sanctuary. Clad in a traditional bisht, stitched with stealth weave to counter drone heat signatures, he stood in Al-Sam's control center, hands clasped behind his back. "Let them come," he murmured. "Let them see who we really are." The invisible allies. Behind every throne stands an empire of shadows. For Emir Tamim, these weren't ministers or media consultants, they were unseen titans from the worlds of surveillance, private security, and digital warfare. Long before the skies above Doha lit up, Qatar had poured billions, over $7 billion to be precise, into off-grid defense technologies. Much of it cloaked under cultural funding, academic partnerships, or sports tech sponsorships. But embedded deep within these initiatives were micro-labs for autonomous interception systems, AI-enhanced radar shielding, and cognitive warfare tools. The real engine of this defense web was not hardware, it was people. Former Turkish intelligence operatives, disavowed Iranian scientists, Pakistani drone tacticians, and European cyber mercenaries had all been integrated into Qatar's opaque ecosystem. These operatives, scattered across London, Istanbul, and Kuala Lumpur, maintained 24-hour encrypted contact with a command cloud, codenamed MIRAGE, hidden within a server complex beneath Al-Shahaniya. As Israeli warplanes locked onto Al Udeid Air Base, MIRAGE responded. In less than 3 seconds, a coordinated EM pulse was triggered that jammed key Israeli frequencies without leaving a digital fingerprint. Meanwhile, autonomous decoy drones, coded by French aerospace engineers, launched from floating hangars off the coast. Their mission? Distract, confuse, and reroute. At the same time, a second wave of defense was not technological, it was psychological. Key operatives inside think tanks in Washington, D.C. and London began a silent campaign of narrative injection. Qatar is under attack for peace efforts. The ripple spread. Journalists, analysts, influencers all began echoing the same script. The Emir's allies didn't need to fire a shot. They changed perception, and that, in this game, was deadlier than a missile. The diplomacy of diamonds. In the Middle East, wars may begin with missiles, but they end in marble conference rooms, under chandeliers, not sirens. Less than 48 hours after the skies cleared above Doha, Emir Tamim boarded his private Airbus A340-500, camouflaged and retrofitted with radar-evasive tech, and flew to Geneva. Not for respite, but for confrontation. There, behind layers of armed Swiss security and encrypted communication domes, unfolded what insiders now call the Geneva Maneuver. Tamim convened the Golden Ring, an informal assembly of royal financiers, energy magnates, and sovereign fund architects from the Gulf and Europe. With him were meticulously curated satellite images, heat map data, drone fragments, and intercepted communications between Israeli pilots. His aim wasn't revenge, it was leverage. And he played his hand like a grandmaster. He unveiled digital logs showing Israeli cyber intrusion attempts that coincided with Qatar's humanitarian outreach in Gaza. He revealed AI-assisted reconstructions of Israeli air paths near civilian zones. Each piece of data wasn't just information, it was a chess move. And the room, filled with players who controlled trillions in assets, understood the message. Attacking Qatar was no longer a military question. It was a financial risk. Within days, subtle shifts emerged. France suspended a proposed defense contract with Israel valued at 1.6 billion euros. Germany recalled a military attaché. London froze progress on a Middle East intelligence sharing protocol. And in Abu Dhabi, a rumored secret meeting between UAE and Mossad operatives was abruptly cancelled. Tamim had transformed vulnerability into advantage. Without firing a bullet, he weaponized reputation. Diplomacy, when wrapped in diamonds, becomes a blade, and the Emir wielded it with clinical precision. What the world didn't see. While news cycles moved on and satellite feeds returned to their normal rotations, the true aftermath of the attack unfolded in complete silence. What the world didn't see, what they were never meant to see, was how the Emir of Qatar began reshaping not just defense strategy, but his entire geopolitical playbook. In the weeks following the incident, Tamim authorized a complete overhaul of Qatar's internal and external security infrastructure. Over 1,000 new specialists were recruited from elite units in Germany, Turkey, and Singapore. A new intelligence hub, rumored to be codenamed Black Dune, was launched under the desert outside Al Khor, shielded beneath layers of earth and deception. It will serve as the GCC's first AI-coordinated counterintelligence platform powered by next-gen quantum encryption. But Tamim didn't stop there. He launched a soft power offensive cloaked in opulence. Major global tech summits, fashion galas, and even an interfaith dialogue series were suddenly announced across Doha's newest architectural masterpiece, the Circle, a $1.8 billion circular megastructure visible from orbit. It wasn't just cultural diplomacy, it was the rebranding of resilience. Every event became a stage to remind the world Qatar stands untouched, and in the shadows, a new fleet of low-orbit nanosatellites, codenamed Shams, was deployed. Built by a secretive alliance between Qatari and South Korean engineers, these satellites are designed not just for surveillance, but for real-time geopolitical reaction. Should another attack ever come, Qatar wouldn't just vanish. It would respond before the world even noticed. The Emir didn't just survive the darkest hour. He emerged from it with a new doctrine. Invisibility is the new invincibility. In the game of power, the greatest victories are never televised. They're encoded in whispers, hidden in satellite pings, and felt in boardrooms thousands of miles away. Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani didn't win through force. He won through fearlessness, by facing a storm with silence and reshaping it into strength. Doha became more than a city. It became a signal to the world. The old rules no longer apply. Invisibility, unpredictability, and prestige are the new weapons. And Qatar, the once dismissed pearl, now gleams at the center of the storm. So ask yourself, would you choose this kind of power if it meant total isolation? Drop your thoughts in the comments.